Welcome to the General's Gentlemen.
Alrighty, hello, welcome. We're not really lined up though, are we?
Nah.
It's fine.
Welcome.
Welcome to the AMA stream. We have 58 questions to get through. We're still not really lined up. There we go.
You happy?
Yeah, whatever. Enough. We have 58 questions, and to everyone who's watching live, you can add to this. Exclamation mark questions. It's in the title. That'll add you to the form. If you just ask questions via the chat, we're gonna miss it and leave it. So this way, it's all organized. We don't miss questions. It's easy. So yeah, we're celebrating 5 years. This was yesterday, 13th of January. It was 5 years, but we had to stream today. And yeah, let's go ahead and read some of these through. We're also drinking some whiskey.
Yummy.
What whiskey was it, Blake?
This is a 21-year Royal Salute, so PogChamp.
Yeah.
Fun. Yeah.
I'm a classy gentleman here. Deactivate the webcam self-light increase. Looks fine to me.
That looks good.
It's how we always have it. Go away with you. Yeah, we'll go ahead and leave it how it is. I mean, what I sort of imagine we'll do though anyway is with the YouTube video, we'll actually edit the webcam into a gameplay video of something. So it'll be a bit more interesting than just having us on webcam. But for the live viewing, we're just on the full screen webcam. So let's go ahead and start. So we all know how much of an issue snipers are in Code 2. How would you go about fixing them? So this is a fantastic question. What a great way to start off
I knew you'd
this
start
AMA.
with that crap.
Whoever asked me
Jeez,
this,
yeah.
I am very happy. I have a feeling it's Orange Pest, because he always rants to me about how frequently he hates snipers, and I'm like, yes. Yeah, we're in Australia, so it's evening. It's 9:30 p.m.
Yeah.
It's no, we're in Perth, so it's 9:30 p.m.
Classy time for a drink. So.
Of course. Okay, so I thought about this briefly because how would you go about fixing them? There's certain ways you can look at this because it's, you know, there's the question of how would I fix it if I could do whatever I wanted to, or there's the question of how would you viably try and fix it in a way that wouldn't piss off players and Relic would actually accept. And so I think first you got to look at, like, what is the problem with snipers, like really at a deep level. The problem with snipers is that their performance varies so much depending on the skill level, the map layout. So open terrain, they're very OP, but then close quarters combat, they suck, and team games as well, as opposed to 1 versus 1. So you got to find a way to make them more consistent between all of those factors. And I think the best way to do that would be use the model that already works, and that's the Pathfinders and the Jaeger Light Infantry, because they're all about providing a lot of vision. They have consistent long-range damage, but they're quite squishy, so they still sort of feel that recon long-range poking role, but not in a way that is very cheesy and frustrating and uncounterable. It doesn't have that huge all or nothing factor of like, okay, blob the sniper, dive my scout car, hope I kill it, because if I don't, there goes all this. And you know, the problem with snipers as well is that they ruin the flow of the game, is that they discourage you from being active and aggressive and taking small individual engagements, because they just poke you and bleed you down. So you got to just sort of blob against them, which is not fun and not what Coast should be all about. Whereas you don't have that problem with Pathfinders and Jaegers. So I would make snipers basically the equivalent. So Wehrmacht and Soviets and such would get an equivalent of the Pathfinders or the Jaeger Light Infantry, because I think they're a lot more fun and they don't have any of those problems.
Okay, that's pretty good.
A more or a less intense way would be to add a huge increase to their aim fire delay, so they're run and gun so quickly. There's more chance to sort of run up to them while they're like aiming at you, or you could just lower their damage, but then lower their costs, so they don't one shot you all the time, but then they're not so as expensive. So there's a few things.
Yeah, I'd say like the health damage is definitely a way to approach it. I don't mind the model drops. I just like to see snipers fill more of a support weapon role and interact with other units in the same way support weapons like machine guns do, where there's a setup time for snipers. Like they stop in a spot, they set up, then they start shooting, which would be fine, and it would prevent the running gun is like a big issue, like moving blobs of snipers around, taking shots, running back, taking shots, because it means you can't actually chase them down with squads. If there was a setup time, you get control over an area, it's still going to allow you to well, I guess the main reason you build snipers, I mean, there's a majority of reasons, but one of the things they're best at is actually displacing support weapons. So if you gave them a setup time and still give them the ability to displace things like MGs or mortars and things like that, and honestly I think they should get 100% accuracy against garrisons as well if you implemented that, because like garrisons are still such just a ridiculous part of the game. I mean, less so in 1v1s, but in team games, the garrisons, especially early, are just obnoxious. So I'd like to see like I think something is definitely implementable is a setup time, 100% accuracy against garrisons. But you know, if you run a squad at them, they have to pack up. Well, they have to get away, and they can't just start a step back sniping down models of this squad, because that can happen. I mean, you get two snipers on the field and boom boom, the first two shots killed two of your grenadier models, and then you can't run after them anymore because they'll just stop, aim at your grenadiers and wipe the squad. So there are some issues with them, but yeah, I'd like to see them fill more of a support weapon role, which they are. They're a support unit rather than kind of one man OP armies. Like
Basically, the analogy that I like to use is they're not a sniper in a real sniper sense. Yeah. They're a sniper in the Call of Duty sense, in the 360 no scope, all that nonsense. But that's actually a really great solution, because that's how Dawn of War 2 does it. In Dawn of War 2, the sniper teams, all of them, the rangers, the scout snipers, they have a setup and a pack-up time. So you have to use them in that sieging role as opposed to just a YOLO role. And then, I mean, the other reasons as well, for example, they cost power, so it hinders your tech. And then there's squads, and you can focus down individual models, which costs power to reinforce. I prefer at least the idea of the Soviet sniper, because then you have incremental damage to it. You can drop a model, make it harass itself. So yeah, I think that's the all or nothing is very frustrating when it comes to snipers. The setup time is a great way of doing it. There are many ways that you could do it. Anyway, so let's go ahead and move on to our next question. There's probably going to be like a long stream in terms of how long-winded these answers are. I mean, some of them are pretty short answers, we'll see. What's the worst RTFs you've played in recent memory?
I want to say it's me.
Well, you're Dawn of War 3, right? But, I mean, Dawn of War 3 wasn't the worst RTS. It was
Empire's part was like pretty average. But I guess that was beta, so it doesn't really count. I think, okay, something is actually released.
I think Dawn of War 3 wasn't actually that bad. It's just the fact that it was Dawn of War, which is why it was so shit. If it was some random no-name RTS, you'd be like, okay, this game's average.
Yeah.
The fact that it's Dawn of War, you're like, oh man, how did it come to this? I mean, I haven't really played a lot of. Oh no, you know what? No, I'm gonna say 8-bit armies. And
that was pretty trash.
And that was a while ago. But if you want my full review, I will link that, because I've explained in great detail 8-bit armies. And this was sort of at launch when I had wrote this review. 8-bit armies review game cloud. Yeah, I mean I had a lot of problems with that game. And yeah, that's my review. If you want to read it, 8-bit armies. That was only about a year and a half ago, April 2016, when I wrote that review.
Honestly, I don't really play enough like indie or smaller RTS to about it. So yeah, probably like something like Dawn of War 3, which had a lot of issues. But yeah, quick answers. We'll go with that.
Do you think the RTS genre is dying? If so, why? Well, it's been, people have been saying it's dying for, decades. I mean, it's certainly not as prominent as it used to be, but there's still a lot of RTS games being released. I think the quality of the ones being released is not so good. So I think the problem isn't that we're not getting any RTS. The problem is the RTS that we're getting are not very good. But there is, plenty of good, good RTS games in between. Say, Off-World Trading Company, Desert of Karak was pretty decent. Spellforce 3 I've been playing, that's pretty decent. So I don't think it's dying. It's just not as interesting and
Welcome
not as
to the General's
popular as it
Gentleman.
used to be. If so, why? I think there's several reasons. MOBAs taking their market share is part of it. The consoles taking more prominence over PC is part of it. The aging demographic, I think, is part of it too. I mean, you have a lot of reasons that add up. It's something that I could do a whole video on, which I've sort of been meaning to do for a while. But yeah, there's plenty of life in it, and I mean, we got Age of Empires Definitive Edition, StarCraft Remastered came out, so there are still, I guess they're not sequels, but they're well, Age of Empires 4 is coming out, so I mean, no, it's not dying until there's no RTS games being released, then it's going to be dead. But until then,
I mean, there's always going to be a demographic that RTS games appeal to, because we're talking about it. It's a genre. RTS is a genre. It's like we're talking about one game. Like, do you think like Counter-Strike's dying because PUBG came out? Yes, because we're talking about conflicting games. Why play the other one if you're going to play one of them? You're probably not going to play both. If you don't have the time for that. So RTS will always appeal to a certain
to the
type
General's
of people. I think
Gentleman.
you put it pretty well in terms of the different types of RTS players, like single player campaign. People who enjoy campaigns, they're still going to play that. And part of that's probably been taken by like so many good RPGs and things like that have come out recently. And then there's people who play a bit of multiplayer as well. And then there's obviously the competitive aspect. Is there'll always be a group that competitive multiplayer RTS appeals to.
Yeah.
What we've got to make sure is, like, kind of expanding what you said about good games, is that we have to make sure good games come out. So new gamers that are just getting started, who aren't sure what kind of games that they like, have something to play that's also good. We can't be expecting new gamers to pick up like Age of Empires 2 or something like that. They're probably not going to play that. It's an old game. Ages well for those of us who have played it, but for a new player, it's not so much. It's like, you're going to play something prettier or better. So we've got to make sure that we're drawing in the people likely to play RTS by making sure there are RTSs for them to play. Even if you love the RTS genre as a new gamer, if there are no games for you to play, then you're going to go play FPS or MOBA, and you're going to get interested in those games. And at the point where you start playing a game and you enjoy it, you have a degree of investment into the game. You want to keep playing, you want to improve yourself and get better, because there are kind of consistent elements to a gamer's personality and why they play and why they enjoy games, and competitive aspects of that as well. And especially competitive video games, I compare it a lot to sport. I mean, it's pretty much just sport. It's sports. It just appeals to the same kind of, mentality-wise. It's just about the same thing. I get the same feel out of playing competitive video games that I do out of playing like soccer or basketball or any other team-based sport. So, yeah, definitely. As long as we have good games, there'll always be players playing RTS. Just make sure there are good games, because there hasn't really been a big standout in several years that's just been amazing. So, yeah.
Well, to add to that as well is that now that I'm working for Stardock as a designer on RTS games, then I'm right in the industry, so I can try and keep RTS alive as best as I can with a great company behind me. All right. What is your question? Yes. Okay.
No. Is my
Maybe.
answer.
What is your question? Could you continue your What Makes RTS Games Fun video series, maybe with other titles / mods or other sub-genres like real-time tactics, strategy games to support? So I really loved that series. That was a lot of fun. Those are the videos that I'm the most proud of. I think they're really interesting. And the thing is with those videos, though, is they take up a lot of time. Writing them is very time-consuming. Doing all the editing, putting it all together. They are like time-consuming videos. It'll take weeks and weeks to do, and and only get like an average amount of views. But I still really enjoy doing them just because I thought it was valuable, and they're actually what led me to get my job, because Brad, the CEO of Stardock, watched those videos and really valued my insights and our company Ferris Casts. I definitely want to do more of those videos. They're just very time consuming. And then sort of when I went through that phase where I was doing YouTube full time, doing a video every 6 months, it was every day for 6 months. I sort of didn't really have as much time for that, and now that I'm working full time for Stardock, I don't really have the time for it. I have plenty of ideas of what I want to write about, like that's not an issue. What I actually thought of doing is sort of doing a new series where it's like RTS case study, where I talk about a specific mechanic or a specific unit or something, and then just have a rant about that thing. So for example, I could write a whole essay about the nuclear battle master from Zero Hour. I sort of already have to an extent, like some of my really old writings before I, like even Gentlemen. Yeah, about why it's just like asymmetry done really well. Or, you know, I could write in detail about the sniper in Company of Heroes and why I think it's a really bad unit. And, you know, things like that. And I could do the same for a lot of games. So, like, I have ideas.
You could probably write a thesis on why the Rokettans are bad.
Yeah. Roketten, no, another, and seriously though, like, I could analyze Roketten in great detail about why it's a really bad design unit. So, yeah, I have ideas. It's just the time is a problem. At some point, I'll do more. It's sort of hard. Because I'm also, like, I write reviews for GameCloud, so, like, they're time-consuming, but maybe at some point, perhaps. Anyway, what has been your favorite Zero Hour cast?
Tough question. Man, it's just, I don't know. Look up some of our interviews, I'm not even sure, like...
There's one that
there are a lot of great ones. I mean, we casted so many. It's not that they blur together. It's just like it's hard to think of the specific ones. Like once you'd mention one, I could be like, yeah, I remember that game, even if it was like 3 years ago. But like, yeah, I remember the game. It was like friggin' awesome. The one with Chinooks maybe crashing down to end the game. Which one was that?
That was like one of the first ones we did.
Yeah, I remember the way like the game end was like I think it was a Hall of Famer. It probably was a Hall of Famer where the game ends as like one scaffold left and it dies by Chinooks crashing down on top of it.
Oh, seriously, not monetized? Not yeah. Rohan demo versus Caro stealth, and it's actually got in the name our favorite Zero Hour cast. That was the hour-long game. The one where I think it was Rohan Scud stormed, Anthrax bombed his own units. It went on for an hour.
I remember that.
It was ridiculous. I was just sort of frustrated because when I saw it, YouTube demonetized it. Not suitable for advertising, which is a joke. You know, it's a 0 hour shoutcast. Why is that not suitable for advertising? I'll link that in the chat here. That was a fantastic game. That was just insane. Any 0 hour game that goes for that long and doesn't just devolve into really campy sort of GLA play is not really interesting. This was a GLA mirror, and yet it was just intense. It's a pretty small map. There was a lot of back and forward stuff. It went for over an hour and 4 minutes. That was the one with the hijackers, where he was trying to use hijackers to cover his capping rebel. So in the Scorpion,
we tried to get it.
Yeah, when the Scorpion would try to crush the capping rebel, the hijacker would steal the Scorpion. It was so sick.
Just great plays and like really solid mechanics and just smart ideas. It was really cool because there are so many good unit interactions in 0 Hour.
Yeah, there was a clip from this that almost made it into the cut for the montage that I made. I was so close to getting in there, but didn't quite fit very well. But that game by far is my favorite. That was just fantastic, and I'm sure there's plenty of others that I can't remember off the top of my head, but that one certainly stands out to me. Yeah. All right, next one. What made you start shoutcasting, and how did you know whether you were going to be good at it?
So we initially started shoutcasting because I'm bad at video games. So there's the meme. This is the basis for the meme, I guess you could say, like right back at the start, because
this meme specifically about you being bad at video games, that was because I'd always hack your Facebook and I'd always message Jono and be like, I'm bad at video games.
Yeah. So I guess like even before that, that kind of where the idea started in your head, like what made us start shoutcasting was I was bad at 0 Hour, essentially. I was just getting into it. I was a little nooblet in high school, and I wasn't very good at 0 Hour. And
that was before he got his muscles.
Before I was buff. Back I was a little dweeby kid. And Callum kind of got me around and it's like, oh, that's okay, man. Like, it's okay to be bad. Like, we seem pure image. What does Jeremy do when he wants to improve? Got to make sure he checks his replay. So we're just like, we'll just look at some shoutcasts of 0 Hour. Sounds like a good idea. Was it a good idea?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, and there was a few people that we watched and we were like, man, we could do better than these guys. So we just did it and we just casted it and we thought we did okay at the time. And the first video got like 1,000 views really quickly, which was very surprising and humbling. So we just kept doing it. It was fun, and It was Callum's bullying, yeah, pretty much. That's really the story. I mean, I always sort of wanted to do casting because I thought it was cool. Because when StarCraft 2 came out, I was really into that. That was 2010, and I watched a shoutcast of that, and I thought I'd love to try this. And I do remember trying it, casting a StarCraft 2 replay on my own, and it was really awkward, and I wasn't really good at it. And then casted League of Legends with Adam. Nomi.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was when there was a 15-minute video limitation. And so even before Blake, I actually tried casting both StarCraft and League of Legends, which is so ironic because people would get so butthurt when we used to post both StarCraft and League of Legends, and the fact that I was casting those way before the 0 hour and such was interesting. So that was really it. We just sort of saw that there wasn't a lot of other people doing 0 hour. We thought we could do better. And here we are.
We did. And we had no idea we were going to be good at it. We didn't have a clue. We just thought we might be able to be. And we were pretty bad. I mean, definitely compared to now, but it's just like any new skill. You need to stick with it. If you're not very good at something, maybe after 2 years, you can be like, oh yeah, I don't know, maybe try something else. But you can't just jump in on something without any prior experience and expect to be any good. You just got to give it a shot. You might end up here.
Yeah, our casting certainly changed a lot over the years.
Yeah.
All right, next question. Do you guys watch your very old videos and cringe at them? Not in detail, but sometimes I'll flick through them. Like if I get a YouTube comment, someone comment on a video and says something about this video, and then I look at it and it's from March 2012. I go, oh god, why do people still watch these videos?
Yeah, we had an interesting casting style back then. We'll call it interesting. So it was just a little bit cringy.
No questions for you guys. Just keep with good work. Congratulations of 5 years. Thank you.
Cheers.
Alright, you can read some of these out.
What is your favorite subgenre of RTS games? Do you favor heavy micro and limited base building, for example?
Okay, so I want to say the heavy micro because both Command and Conquer and Company of Heroes, that's what they are. They're very small macro, very combat intensive. I think that's my favorite subgenre. That being said, I do enjoy all other types of RTS. I've been playing Supreme Commander for years. I absolutely love Supreme Commander. And then I now work on Ashes, which is, of course, another very large-scale RTS as well. So, I love all types of RTS games. I think people get a bit too fanboy. Even comparing something like Command and Conquer to StarCraft, some people, StarCraft sucks, only CNC's like the best RTS. I love every RTS. StarCraft, Command and Conquer, Subcom, all those types of subgenres. I think there's a triangle between, you have, say, the Command and Conquer Company of Heroes style. You've got Supreme Commander, like the really, really large scale macro side. And then in the middle, you have the hybrid, which is the StarCraft Age of Empires.
Yeah.
So those are the three sort of triangles. Yeah. But I would say the smaller scale, but I love them all.
Yeah, I like everything. I suppose lately, I definitely enjoy really intense micro RTS where like I never get quite as into a game as into a Company of Heroes 2 4v4 at like 40 minutes when I'm moving around like 6 squads and microing three Stoogs and a Panzer IV, and like I just get crazy intense, and I get a crazy intense look at my face just because that level of just super intense just focused micro just feels awesome.
Speaking of 4v4, shout out to Yagas.
Yay!
What are we drinking again, Blake?
PogChamp. So we're drinking Royal Salute. We're drinking 21-year-old Royal Salute, which I'm sure Anthony probably has 6 bottles of, and 7 bottles of the much older version or something. Because I always played I played Empire Earth. I played a lot of Empire Earth. I played like Warcraft 3, like the actual like Warcraft 3, not modded Warcraft 3. So many other things. So yeah, I just the whole everything, all RTS, they all have something different to offer.
Same with RPGs. I love different types. I think limiting yourself to certain subgenres is just really pointless. Right? Callum, you became a game developer, or rather a game designer, not by studying at university or working in a studio, but by making YouTube videos and balance patches. would you recommend your way you got your job for someone who wants to become a game designer? Where are you just really lucky, or do you have any advice for people who want to tread in your footsteps? Thanks in advance. Also, hi, Blake.
Hello.
Okay, so first thing there is my work with Company of Heroes in the balance patches didn't actually lead to anything. Brad didn't even know that I actually was making a Company of Heroes mod, or the balance patch that I worked on. But basically, I think in general, when it comes to whatever sort of job in the games industry you want to do, just putting yourself out there is the most important thing. I know a couple of people who work for Stardock that got their job essentially just by doing something for free a lot. So one of our guys, one of our community managers, is sort of the Discord expert, and so he's been building up the Ashes community on Discord for since the game came out, and now he's also doing the Discord stuff for Star Control and a bunch of other games. And that really what he did. And also he also did events, so game nights and such. He just kept doing all these things, and people noticed, go, hey, that's really cool. Can you do that for us, but for Star Control, because we need this game to prop up. So that's really what gets you people noticing you. I mean, having obviously a degree or experience is going to really help, but no one's going to notice you to begin with if you're not putting yourself out there and creating your own luck. And obviously there's a lot of luck involved. Just happen to have a CEO of a company watch our Company of Heroes shoutcasts and RTS discussion videos. So but you got to make your own luck. Put yourself out there, and people will notice you. It's
creating opportunities more than anything else. Like, if it wasn't Brad, it might have been a CEO of another company that saw the videos and was interested. So yeah.
And I think I had something else to say, but I may have actually forgotten it. I can't remember. I'll maybe go back to that if I remember it. But that's, I mean, specifically the idea of just make a bunch of YouTube shoutcasts. I mean, you can't always you can't replicate that. So YouTube videos is just one outlet, but the general philosophy of put yourself out there continuously, and someone may notice you. Oh no, yeah, what I was gonna say, and I actually had this conversation with Brad specifically, is that to find people that have really good work ethic, people that are going to go out of their way to do things that you want, are people that are going to do that in the first place before they were actually working for you to begin with. If people only do something because they're getting paid to do that thing, they don't have that motivation. They don't have that drive, because they just, get paid, do this, go home, and then go back to my leisure. Where if people that are really passionate about what they're doing and are really drawn to it, they're the other ones going to take initiative, go out of their way. They're going to take that, when you take responsibility for something. Accountability, that's what you want. And so that's why people who do something for free, like just on their own as a hobby, is very valuable, because then for an employer that shows, wow, this person is gonna be really committed because he's really passionate about doing this. Another person I know who now works at Stardock is someone that made a lot of video essays and YouTube videos like that. So that's the best piece of advice. I think university is becoming less and less relevant now, that YouTube tutorials teach you everything. If you want to learn how to program, YouTube tutorial. If you want to learn Blender, YouTube tutorial. So, yeah.
Of all the things you two did in the 5 years, what are you the most proud of? There's been a lot of stuff. I think going back to kind of the stuff you were saying in the last answer is just nothing really specific. It's just taking pride in the work that we do and in self-improvement and always pushing ourselves, not because we were getting money, because we were trying to improve for anyone else or do anything for anyone else, because we were trying to improve for ourselves, to improve what we were doing. And I think that was really cool. I think self-improvement is its own kind of has its own draw outside of outside validation or anything like that. So we've done so many cool things. We've done, I think a lot of the live casting events for League of Legends were really awesome. I think we really helped develop a League of Legends scene, as an example, within not only Western Australia, but within OCE as a whole. I mean, I think we built a lot on that community, so building the League of Legends community through our work with like OCE Weekly and local tournaments, through building a community through YouTube as well. Like, people enjoy, interacting with us as well, so as they enjoy our content, they enjoy our personalities, and I like that back and forth, which is cool.
I was just laughing because someone said definitely emergency M10.
Oh, yes. So I forgot. No. Take back everything what I said. The fiery #1 single that I dropped, Emergency M10, that's got to be it. And that's what's getting me the fame. I mean, DJ Khaled asked me to go on his next track, but 50-50. Like, Post Malone stuff's going to be on it. I'm considering I might jump in. We'll see how we go.
Yeah, if you die tomorrow, you'll be remembered as the emergency M10 rapper.
Generals.
I think for me, as I sort of alluded to earlier, the What Makes RTS Games Fun series, because I think that's really offering an insight that doesn't exist elsewhere. Whereas, there's other people casting Company of Heroes, there's other people casting Zero Hour, and I think we were really good at those, but the things with shoutcasting is it's very repetitive in the sense that once you've casted 300 games of Zero Hour, the 400 games of Zero Hour, it's just sort of the same thing. Whereas every time I do one of those video essays or review, it's something unique and new. So I think those scripted videos... I mean, I guess recently this year, I'm very proud of the tutorial that I made for Ashes, because the tutorial before that was really bad, and so I made a new set, and they were really interesting, and I voiced them as well. So if you play Ashes, the tutorial is my voice, which I think is cool.
It's a pretty awesome tutorial, actually.
Yeah, and I think it's fun, and actually what I will say is, I don't know if I should say that, but the refund rate has gone down since the tutorial that I made. So, obviously it's leaving a better first impression. So, anyway, that's a meme. If you had one opportunity to see everything you ever wanted, would you capture it or just let it slip?
His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweat already. Mum's spaghetti, he's nervous. But on the surface he looks calm and ready to drop bombs. But he keeps on forgetting what he wrote down. The whole crowd goes so loud. He opens his mouth, but the words won't come out. Oh. No, you gonna drop some?
No, not that. I'm not buying what you're selling, buddy.
I was selling it so well. There was a gradual build up. I didn't drop it all on you at once. It's sad. Would you play a Generals themed RPG? I mean, give it a shot.
I actually know there is a CNC3 MOBA that someone made.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's in the CNC3 engine and you play as a unit. I mean, that's like, is the RPG good just because it's set in general? So it doesn't necessarily mean to say it'll be good. I mean, sure, if it's good, but it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Yeah,
it's just, like, I would try something in that kind of sense, but you can't just say, like, just because StarCraft's good doesn't mean like doing a StarCraft themed RPG would bring like you would benefit from the fact that it was set in StarCraft. It has to be a good game first, and then like whatever it's about secondary. So, your opinion on Age of Empires Definite Edition, and will you cast? I think hell yes, we'll cast it. So.
Oh yeah, I played a lot of Age of Empires 1. I never really got into Age of Empires 2.
Definitive edition.
Yeah, the remaster.
The remaster.
Definitely, I'd love to check it out. We haven't casted any Age of Empires, and that it's such a popular franchise that I think we would get decent views if we did. But Age of Empires 2, I didn't really get into. Age of Empires 3, I actually did one video because I did a stream of it once, and that did really well. I love Age of Empires 3, but I only played it mostly skirmish. So yeah, for sure I'll play Age of Empires 1 Definitive Edition. I think it'll be cool. I hope they change it for the better, because I remember there being balance problems.
Yeah.
I played a few games on Game Ranger for a few years ago, and the Egyptian cavalry was just busted. And it wasn't replays, so I couldn't actually look at what he was doing.
Right.
So I was like, how is he beating me?
There's a lot of busted stuff in Age of Empires, like the first one balance-wise and among other things. So, yeah, I mean, if they fix it up, hopefully it's not another, like, Brood War, in that sense. I think a remaster is good if you can also, improve it or at least draw people into the game rather than just being a purely nostalgia. This is exactly the same as the last one. kind of a thing. There are still changes you can make. I don't think any game after that amount of time is perfect and you can't improve it.
Yeah, I sort of like how they're using the label Definitive Edition. That suggests it's a bit more expansive than just a remaster, which suggests it's only upscaling of the resolution.
Or they just looked up a
welcome
word
to
on
the
synonyms.
general-
Thesaurus.com, my favorite website. Also, isn't it a full 3D conversion? They're actually going from 2D to 3D, so that's pretty huge because other remasters haven't done that. Broodwater didn't do that. But, anyway, where can you download the map with the oils in it? It was featured in one of your casts. So if you just go to gamereplays.org/CNC0hour, I'm pretty sure there's a forum there, a thread there that just has all of the maps in a RAR that you can download. It'd be from gamereplays.org. That's where I would have got it from.
And I'm pretty sure there are like a series of those ones. I think it's like CXC or C.
Yeah.
If you look on the if you look on the comments from that cast, I'm pretty sure Jono or Darth said something about the map, or someone said something about the map. Apparently, I think it's a series of maps that are similar to that, where it's like no supplies or at least light supplies to like really change up how the game plays out.
That was
So,
the 2v2
you remember that?
one.
The 2v2 with Jono and Darth on it. Yeah, you remember that?
Yeah.
So, I think that's one. That's the one they're talking about. The one
Right.
with the oils. The
Yeah.
Jono Darth 2v2.
I thought it was. I didn't know what he meant. I thought it was just like one of those CXN maps. Yeah. Anyway.
Your 2017 highlights. You got plenty.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I have a few. For me, you're definitely going to America. I was flying out to Michigan by Stardock, which is where the office is based. So I was there for a week and a half. Met everyone there at the office, which was really cool because being in this really cool office building full of passionate game devs that have been in the industry for decades, very knowledgeable, had a lot to learn from them, and just the atmosphere of their working in a game studio was amazing. And hanging out with them, went to Brad's mansion, went shooting at a gun range. That was fun. So that was just a really cool trip. Yeah, that's what I would say. As far as work, go back to the tutorial that I said. That was a big project that I spent a while on. I started doing martial arts. That was a really good experience, but that was not a specific highlight piece apart from the gradings.
Yeah, you did well. It was good. Oh no, student of the year. Excuse me, student of the year for the club. It was good. You did well.
We are a house of overachievers. Blake, also
we
winning
know,
the instructor of the year.
Yeah, that was kind of my thing, I guess. Personal life wise, at least. So I kind of took over as like head kids instructor at my dojo, where I do a bunch of martial arts. Like, I guess they'll be asking questions. So I do like freestyle karate, Tetsuru freestyle karate, Muay Thai kickboxing, Krav Maga, a bit of MMA, then like I do stick fighting with like Arnis and Bo, so Arnis and Bujitsu. So that's pretty good. Anyway, I took over as head kids instructor, so that was pretty awesome. And I was nominated for and won instructor of the year at the state awards, which was pretty cool considering it was my first year as the head instructor. I think that was pretty awesome. So that was a personal highlight, I suppose. Professional wise, gentleman wise, I guess like taking over video editing was pretty cool. It's not like crazy hard or anything like that, but I appreciate like getting into that and doing kind of taking over a bit more of that. And I've still got a lot of stuff that I want to implement that I haven't yet, but that I definitely have a lot more plans to do more things. And implement more things.
Yeah,
the
like
channel and stuff.
the swag points. That'll happen eventually.
That will happen.
It's
a thing that will happen. One day I'm just going to sit for 24 hours on a computer, watch all our 0-hour cast, and just make sure I got all the swag points.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, because there's a form. People submitted.
Yes, I remember. Yeah.
So
yeah,
that,
yeah.
and
So
I have that
we got
form
that,
still
so,
with
yeah.
all the applications.
Yeah, we'll do something with that. So.
Your opinion of active aggression. So I only played this when it came out. I think it's changed a fair bit because they actually did sort of a reboot where they acknowledged our game sucked. Sorry, we've completely reworked the economy and all these other things. I never bothered with that. By then, what's the point? No one's even going to play it anymore. Nobody has interest in it. There's so much momentum when it comes to a release for something like an RTS game where the communities aren't huge. If you botch the launch, it's just people aren't going to stick around unless there's like really big expansions or something like that. I mean, the video that I did on the channel with, it was Firestorm, I think, some guy who casts the Wargaming series. That had all of my opinions of what I thought of it at launch, and I haven't played it since. And I don't really have any intention to. I don't think that game is relevant at all anymore. You never played, did you?
No opinion, really. I watched you play it a fair bit, but no opinion, really. I can't really put an opinion on that. I don't think I played a lot myself, so not enough to do anything like that. Here we go. What do you think is the best General's Gentleman meme? Like being bad at video games? You must get some from your patrons, etc. Might be nice to feature them, shoutcasts or intros, maybe. So.
Well, there's also the Fetal Blake.
The Fetal Blake meme, yeah, that's
yeah.
a good one. So, yeah, there's, what else is there? There's a few other good General's Gentleman memes.
Oh, well, there's the floor is shit posting and it's like Mark on the floor.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to our Discord, we have a memes channel. Most of them are not our memes, but it's sort of memes about RTS.
Stuff that we do.
Yeah.
Of course, you have all the casting, the non-picture casting memes. Like,
like the ever get so mad that you something that happens in a cast.
Yeah.
Like
The stuff like the machine cap.
Yeah.
Like the Archon Hawk wire.
Yeah.
Machine cap where you try and pro cap a point and you accidentally run out before the circle finishes. Archon Hawk wire where you wire in your own squad into heavy cover and they die. That's always good.
Or if you wire it, but you leave the spot,
so they can just walk in and take the heavy cover. Also bad.
Yeah.
We've got all sorts of things like that from stuff we've done and previous casts and all that.
They're not really memes. They're a meme if you take the definition of the word, but they're not like an in joke. They're not so much here's a graphic image. If you could make a remastered version of one RTS game, what would it be?
Obvious.
Yeah, I feel like 0 Hour is the only RTS game that hasn't been remastered at this point. Really, the only other thing that I would consider, of course, apart from 0 Hour, is Dawn of War 1. Because I think that game could do with a remaster, but even then, it still looks beautiful. It's 0 Hour 2, they both look beautiful. They don't really need a remaster in the, like, increase the resolution. Yeah. I guess 0 Hour isn't widescreen by default, which is bad for people that don't know about Gentle. I would actually change those games. If there was a remaster for both Dawn of War 1 and 0 Hour, I would hope the gameplay gets changed in terms of nerfing certain things, changing certain things, like, you know, turning 0 Hour into Shockwave is what I would want for a remaster, where all the factions are all balanced, they all have all the tools that they need. You know, certain factions don't have weapons deprived from them, so say you play as trying to tank, you still get artillery. That's what I would want. So maybe not remaster, reboot, perhaps, whatever the term for it is. You can just change resolution options.ini. That has problems, though. If you just do that, it messes with the zoom levels, I think.
Yeah, it does screw up. It's not the ideal way of changing it.
You definitely want to use Gentle. Gentle gives it a lot better zoom level, and it's just, of course, it's easier. And there's other things as well, the Gentle.
Yeah, lots of good features. What's the one detail in RTS games, or any game genre in general, that ticks you off when not executed properly? I think that's a machine question, if ever there was one.
I'm just replying to someone who's spamming you with emotes. By the way, guys, if you want to subscribe to us, you do get our emoticons. Tenchi Noiser. No, well, not our emoticon. Oh no, sorry, that's
Tenchi's. What are you talking about? Who do you think they're as? You get Genera. No, small lowercase G, isn't it?
Genera 33 Thrax. Is that what it is? No.
Genera Thrax 33.
Genera 33. Yeah, because we're an affiliate, not a partner. The pre thing is bad.
Someone can get it.
Genera.
We don't have to use our own emote very much.
Maybe it's a capital T. No, there it is.
Hey,
there it is. Yeah. Shout out to Tenchi, who on his Twitch he has our emotes.
Tenchi Noiser.
There it is.
Noiser.
Dr. Thrax is the emoticon that you get if you subscribe to us. Anyway, obviously asymmetric design, and I made a video about that in detail already. What makes RTS game fun? Asymmetric design, because like a lot of things in RTS, asymmetric design should be used as a tool and not a feature. People think it's a box to tick. Look, the factions are asymmetric. This is asymmetric. Yeah, but is it good? Is it good asymmetry? And there are plenty of examples of good asymmetry, and there are plenty of examples of bad asymmetry. Bad asymmetry is where one faction is objectively overpowered at the late game, like having veteran C5. Good asymmetry is where you have a unit a unit role, and then you have multiple different incarnations of that role. So you say Company of Heroes, the Firefly, Su-85, Jackson, Stug, Jagdpanzer IV, they're all the same unit, the tank destroyer, but they each feel very different, and they are very different. So that's good asymmetry, because it makes it more interesting. But bad asymmetry is, hey, everyone else has to put their buildings in their base, but not AKW. They can put their bases wherever they want. Hashtag asymmetric design. So it needs to be used delicately.
Yeah.
And there are other examples of that sort of thing where it should be used as a tool, not a feature. But asymmetry, I think it's a very common misconception. And so you have all these kind of people in this corporate boardroom that are like, we need to make sure the factions are different. It's like, well, how though? Does it matter? Make them different.
I concur.
Watch my video about that if you want to hear more about it.
How much money do we need to donate in order to make Blake fight a kangaroo on stream? Look, I mean, for the cost of a kangaroo costume, I'll dress up Callum and we can have a boxing match.
I do not consent. We have the punching bag though. We could bring that out.
Yeah, we could just do a few rounds. It'd be good. So yeah. No, kangaroos are nice. We have nice, well-behaved kangaroos. At least we did where I was living before here. We had like really nice kangaroos. Kangaroos are our national animal, which we also eat. So.
And we hunt them.
Yeah, and we hunt. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'll cook a kangaroo steak up for you guys sometimes. It's pretty easy to get actually. So you can just go down to your local supermarket and get a kangaroo steak. So.
Go to Blake's parents' house and just walk down the street.
Works as well.
Hi, I am Ramit. Oh, I won't say his name. Hi, I'm a guy from Egypt. I've only recently found you because of some Facebook meme page. Why don't you post your uploads to Zero Facebook groups more often? So the way that I see it, or at least the way that I saw it, is that everyone who is going to watch our shoutcasts, who's in those groups, has already followed us on YouTube or followed our page. I guess for people that joined those groups recently, we should. I mean, yeah, it's something that we should worth doing. But you don't want to be that guy that just spams a video every 3 days in the group.
Yeah, you don't want to spam videos or anything like that. Like the occasional something is good. I think Perth YouTubers found a good like middle ground where they make a thread every month and then you post like a video in that thread every month. So you can check stuff out. And I think that's a good middle ground. But yeah, you don't want to spam pages with like every game or anything like that. And you're either new to the community. If you haven't heard of us in Zero, you're either new to the community or you've been, I don't know, living under a rock playing against AI because, without being pretentious, we're pretty well known in the community already.
Actually, we're pretty big deal.
Actually, we're a pretty big deal. If you haven't heard of us, so yeah.
Same with posting to game replays and kotor.org. This by now, everyone who's going to watch our videos has already followed us from those websites. So we don't bother posting there. But yeah, maybe once every 10 videos we should, just to expand a little bit. So thanks for the suggestion. We should try and do that in the future.
Of all the RTSs you cover, sort of makes sense. What is your opinion of Steel Division in the War Game series?
So I never played those, and I'm guessing you didn't either.
No, not into it. No, I'm not. So
I mean, I heard it's good. It's World War II, so all the Company of Heroes 2 people were interested in it. Just visually looking at War Game, it didn't interest me. It just seemed, it didn't appeal to me. But I haven't tried them, so I no comment is what I'll say on them.
Same.
Will you stick to commenting Company of Heroes, especially when Co3 comes out? Of course.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just, I guess, you know, if Co3 comes out eventually, it depends if it, I guess it always depends, like, is it good? Like, if Dawn of War 3 was amazing, like, we'll probably still cast, like, a bit of Dawn of War 1 and Dawn of War 2, but you would see a lot more Dawn of War 3 content. Yeah. For obvious reasons. If it's a good game and it's an active game and there's a big community, there are a lot of benefits to casting that. So if Company of Heroes 3 comes out, expect a lot of Co3 casts, assuming it's a decent game. If not, we'll cast Co2, but I don't think we'd ever, like, stop casting Co2. You also have to look at the issue of, because it's a direct sequel, how many people are still actually going to be playing Co2, especially if Co3 is a good game. will there be a lot of people playing it? I know there are still people playing Co and mods of such, but a lot less. So, at the moment it's quite easy to get Co 2 replays. If Co 3 came out over time, then obviously that would make it harder.
Yeah, the main thing is as long as we actually enjoy casting it. Hang on.
I think that's fine. What was he said? Yeah, the first one. Yeah. The question was fine. Yeah, statement beforehand, not so much. So.
The hell?
No. Back. It's one of those. It's the little symbols at the bottom. Little symbols at the bottom.
Oh, right. Thanks. Anyway.
You should probably change that timeout limit as well, so we'll bring him back in after a bit. So.
Whatever.
You can bring him back in now, and never mind. We'll sort it out in a bit.
Moderation aside, yeah, as long as we enjoy casting it, because that's really what has been the driving force of our channel. It's what do we enjoy casting. We cast a few things that get not much views. So Rise of Nations is a good example. Dawn of War 2 is a good example. I've been Ashes and Offworld Trading Company. Like those videos, those games don't get a lot of views, but we just enjoy casting them.
Yeah.
And I mean, Company of Heroes 1, we've been meaning to cast some of that again, and we will. We have replays for Company of Heroes 1, and those generally didn't get many views. So just what we enjoy casting, and that'll come down to whether or not the game is actually good. Dawn of War 3, we actually tried casting that. We casted it twice.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I still have those casts, but we didn't post them because...
Did we post any?
No cast. There was videos of us playing, like in beta and such. But, yeah, the problem with DAO 3 was casting it just kind of sucked because it was... Alright, big engagement. Well, let's see if he uses this ability. Okay, the hero used this ability. Okay, he killed his entire army. And that's your hype. So it has to be interesting to cast. And that's different to whether or not the game is good. There are a lot of things that go into that. Anyway, next question. Thoughts on the Company of Heroes 2 December balance preview current patch? Will you ever cast StarCraft 2? We have a playlist of StarCraft 2, and there's a lot of recasts in there. I think Blake and I have done about 5.
Yeah.
I've done several professional live streams with Tenchi.
Yeah.
With like 1,000 viewers, which is nuts.
But I think it's like the better ones to cast. So yeah,
because Tenchi is like a really, really good caster. I'm just like, I play Terran. I'm Diamond.
Yeah.
I love StarCraft 2. I haven't played it recently, but I love StarCraft 2. The problem with StarCraft 2, getting replays is way too hard because nobody posts their replays because having a replay of a pro puts them at a disadvantage in tournaments. So it's not like other games where people post their replays. You can only really cast StarCraft 2 if you're live streaming it, and unless you're like important, you're not going to be casting that. So it's really bad actually that there's this huge barrier to entry for StarCraft 2 amateur casters. If we didn't know people, like we just wouldn't be able to cast it. You can get replays off of sites like Spawning Tool, but they're out of date and they're not that interesting. It's hard. As for December balance preview, I mean, I love it. There's maybe a couple of things that I disagree with, like the demos costing 65 munitions, but overall it's fantastic. I love it. The Jackson's been buffed. Oh, that feels good. The all kinds of nerfs, Kubel Wagon. It's overall it's a fantastic patch, and I'm really grateful to those guys who've worked on it because they spent months and months working on it, of course, for free, volunteering their time, and so I'm really grateful that we have this continued balance in Company of Heroes. It's a lot better now. There's still a lot of problems with it, but it's better than what it's been in the past. December balance preview is friggin' awesome. There are so many good things. It's actually even got us back into playing Company of Heroes too. We've been playing games, a lot of team games and stuff like that, but we're enjoying that. I mean, we can cast StarCraft 2 together, but it's always good to just, it's better if the machine's casting with Tenchi. Tenchi's a friggin', he's an insanely good caster. He's flawless. He's amazing. He's a professional. Yeah, he's a professional. He's just, yeah. So, Tenchi SC2, I believe, is his Twitch. If you look him up, or Tenchi on Facebook, check him out, because the dude is just nuts, and he's friggin' awesome, and you might not have heard of him, because he does the
slightly lower down scale to like the highest hypey hype, Artosis, Tasteless,
Yeah.
etc. But yeah, it's just I can't really bring a lot to SC2 cast or anything like that. I have I actually watched a lot of SC2 shout casting, not only Tenchi, also like all the other pros and stuff like that, because I really enjoy the casting style and I enjoy the game and I understand it to the level where I can appreciate the commentary and appreciate the high level games as well. But not being a high level player, I can't really bring very much to the shout cast. So
yeah, it's hard. I can
it's
cast
difficult.
I can cast
yeah,
Terran,
yeah.
but if there's a Zerg, like okay,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
building this. Well, cool. This means this is going to go this transition. I'm
Yeah.
like, cool. Anyway, so next question: any long-term ambitions for the channel and then yourselves? Well, Blake is the warden of General Cinnamon.
Wooden it up. Like I said, there are a few things I want to implement on the YouTube that I will be doing in the next couple of weeks. That's something I'm going to be doing. I'd like to do more streaming as well. So just expanding the channel, just making the videos a little bit more interactive is kind of the goal with what I'm kind of aiming for, what I'm thinking about. So yeah, I'd love to just keep it going where it is at the moment. Yeah, it's going really well. I'm really enjoying what we're doing at the moment. So I just love to do it for at least this year and then kind of see how it goes. So we do need a bit more Patreon backing, not just throw it out there, give me money, but to keep it financially viable and keep the amount of videos we're producing at the moment there. Like 5 videos a week at the moment. We do need a little bit more because I have to live in Australia. It's not the cheapest country to live in, and doing that in conjunction with all my martial arts and stuff like that. It's great and I really enjoy it. And the great thing about doing the editing and stuff, it's quite time flexible, so I can fit it in around my martial arts teaching and my training as well. I have like 3 black belts to do this year. It's going to be super intense. But yeah, if I'm not making enough money through kind of the 2 of those, at some point shoutcasting is going to be the one that has to give, and I have to get a job that cuts out my ability to cast and edit and stuff like that, which would suck. So support appreciated. But yeah, I'd love to keep it going for this year. Certainly my goal is see we're at the end of this year, just keep going with this 5 video per week schedule. You know, who knows, try and expand everything else on Twitch and things like that. But yeah, just see how we go after this year and see if it's something we can keep going into the indefinite future. But definitely want to keep going for now. So
Yeah, and what Blake means by that is posting a lot. Not well, in a year we're going to stop posting videos completely.
Yeah.
Like, no, maybe we'll post 1 video a week. Not gonna.
might post less. So,
Yeah. Yeah, for myself.
Worst case scenario is we post less. So,
Yeah, not like I don't like casting. I don't like RTS games anymore. For myself, just working for Stardock, I mean, it's been incredible. Working on RTS games is a dream come true. So, just whatever that takes me, and I have some really cool stuff with Stardock happening. So, yeah, we'll talk about that down the line when it's when it's more come to bear. Oh, this is a long one. The late 90s and early 2000s saw the release of the majority of all the RTSs ever made. That's just factually incorrect. I think what he's trying to say is the popular ones. So say like Age of Empires, Command and Conquer, Total Annihilation, these like really big cult classics. In terms of the actual number of RTS games released, like that wouldn't be true, but the high quality influential ones. Few of them became legends, but the majority was buried underneath all the other games in the genre that underperformed. As a professional designer, have you ever thought of playing and analyzing all those games that aren't mainstream nowadays? Seven Kingdoms, Kohan, Dark Reign come to mind. Although they're all RTS, the underlying mechanics of each are very different from what we would consider them today. We don't really have the time to do that. I mean, those, like, analyzing those games, like, it's interesting, sure, but it's just time-consuming, and that energy I would rather spend, if I am going to spend it, I'll spend it on the What Makes RTS Game series, What Makes RTS Games Fun series, or reviews for, modern games that are coming out. Like, I didn't need to do my video review for Divinity 2, which I did my written review for, and even Spellforce 3, like, I don't know if I'll end up doing a video review for that. But written review certainly for GameCloud. Yeah, no, not really.
Yeah. Also, when will Blake cast Generals, the browser game, again? It's been almost a year since you guys last casted the game, which was the
What?
reason why I subscribed to the channel way back in 2015. Can't believe someone subscribed because of an April Fool's joke cast.
Yeah.
I
Generals
don't know,
IO.
let me know if you guys like Generals I don't mind playing more of it, or casting more. I'm actually pretty into that game. Like, I got well within the top 100 on the leaderboards for Generals.io, which is a pretty good, feels good, man. For like actually on the leaderboards was pretty cool. But we just had like Mike, one of our Patreon backers here. He actually hit rank 1.
He's actually not.
Sorry?
He's actually not a Patreon backer.
Is he not?
No.
Oh, well, a good
He's in
friend
the
of
chat
ours.
though. Yeah.
Son of a bitch! Kick him out of the GG Patreon chat immediately. I guess that was just how he's in the group of the
Patreon chat,
the
yeah.
Patreon chat group. So was kind of what I meant by that. Less than he's a backer, as in he's part of the meme group. So yeah. Anyway, if you guys enjoyed Generals.io, let me know. I'm happy to do some more of it. I'm pretty knowledgeable about the game. I don't know how much the meta has changed since I left the game. I haven't played a lot of it recently. I've been into some more stuff. I've actually been dipping into Flash games in my spare time for a bit of nostalgia, but I mean, I can do some more Generals.io. I think it's a really awesome game, and there's a lot of level to it. Yeah, it's a really fantastic, just basic game for, you know, when you got time to kill. I think it's one of those good,
Queuing
in
for a
queue,
game.
like queuing for
Yeah.
exactly, yeah, queuing for a games to play, because your worst case scenario, like games can go on for like I think 15-20 minutes probably, like the really long ones, but most of them are over in like 5 or 10 minutes, like obviously over in 5 minutes. So yeah.
If you look through the comments on that video, there's a whole bunch of comments like, wow, this is really interesting. I'd love to watch this. This is more interesting than whatever other game.
I'm gonna do some more Generals.
Do it.
Yeah, I'm committing. So yeah.
Is it something that you could do on your own as well?
Yeah, I can.
Because I don't think
yeah,
I'd be able to add
definitely.
much to it.
No, I probably not. So you're never as good at Generals.io as I was. But
I didn't play much.
it's like
Can
the
you
one game?
Can you check out the RTS Iron Harvest? It's still in pre-alpha, it can't be played, but they have a Facebook page with the info. Literally just curious if you guys think it's cool or not. So I certainly have been following it. I think it looks amazing. It looks so cool. I love that art style, the 1920s walking units, like War of the World kind of Company of Heroes mix. It looks amazing. I'm so keen for that. I did send them an email, I'm pretty sure, saying, hey, I'm this YouTuber, blah, 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 and I didn't hear back from them, so feels bad, man. But maybe I'll send them a message on Facebook or something. I'm keen for that, and I'd love to get in touch with those guys and, you know, give them some feedback or something, because it certainly looks really cool and it has a lot of potential. I think it's a beautiful looking game. It's going to have that Company of Heroes sort of playstyle, or at least so it seems. So I think that there could be a lot of momentum behind it.
What actually is your favorite RTS game?
Don't make me choose.
Yeah, it's like choosing between your kids, isn't it? You're not supposed to do that. That people shouldn't ask that question. I think that's a rude question to ask. How dare you?
Well, there's several ways that you can even answer that. Like, which
Yeah.
game have I played the most? Company of Heroes 2 by far. Which one have I enjoyed the most? Like, I don't know, man. I mean, in terms of sort of the teenage nostalgia, maybe I'll say Red Alert 3, because I played that a lot. That was sort of, I think the first RTS I got really competitive at online. Either that or was Company of Heroes 1. I don't know. I'll just say a top 5. Of like sort of all-time favorites, like, you know, Red Alert 3, 0 Hour, Company of Heroes 1, Company of Heroes 2, Dawn of War 2. In terms of the classic nostalgia, and as for what I've been playing the most now, I mean, certainly Ashes, the game that I work on, I've been playing that heaps, working on that, playing it, doing streams, you know, casts and such. So, I mean, it's sort of hard to add that game in there because I obviously have that bias of actually working on it. So I'll just say that's my all-time top 5.
Yeah, I think a hard question to answer, because I think your favorite game's going to change over time as well. So this is what I got the most enjoyment out of, like Age of Empires Gold Edition, Empire Earth, like Warcraft 3 I actually played a lot of newbie single player, but a lot of versus AI and stuff like that, but I still got a lot of enjoyment out of it as an RTS. And then stuff like 0 Hour and Company of Heroes 2 I really enjoy as well, but yeah, tough question to answer, so I'll say those ones for now.
Even single-player games,
Dawn of War
like
1 I played a lot of, that was awesome.
asking my favorite single-player
Yeah.
RPG, and I'm like, I don't know, man, Deus Ex, Dragon Age, like, I don't know. if you would make an RTS game yourself completely from scratch, what would you give the most attention to? Like gameplay, interface, unit model? Well, I would need a budget of several $1 million to make an RTS game, and I do not have one of those.
Hang on. I'm just waiting for Twitch chat to donate us several $1 million. So any second now, I'm sure. Any second now it'll drop.
RTS games really are not the game that you can kind of make in your own garage, or at least not anymore. I mean, I think that's a sort of a hard question to answer because they're all equally important and they all mesh together. Like, it's sort of like if you were to build a car, what would you pay attention to? Tires, engine, or chassis? Like, well, they're all important.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, man.
No one likes driving a car along the road with no doors on it. Like, it gets really breezy. And,
I think that's... Yeah, I don't think that's a very question you can answer that well.
No.
It's also tied together, or at least it should be if it's a good game, and the best ones are.
In your opinion, how can we entice people who are not fans of RTS games to play them? Like Code 2, Red Alert, AoE, etc. Because here in the SEA region, Southeast Asia, I think, there are not a lot of RTS players, sad face. Maybe I can convince my friends to play Code 2 if you guys can think of a good idea. Thanks.
So I think a good question, or rather a good way of answering that is you got to pick the right RTS game, because RTS games are intense. They are hard, and there's a reason why they're not so popular. Because they're stressful, they're overbearing. There's a lot of barriers to entry, and so if you're going to introduce someone to RTS, you probably shouldn't introduce them to Company of Heroes or Supreme Commander. Those games are scary. So think about what's the best RTS for people to introduce people to. I would say StarCraft 2, and the reason why is because you have the co-op campaign, the co-op multiplayer, and that's really good at simplifying StarCraft 2. I don't know if you've actually played those.
I know the.
You know what they are.
Yeah, I know what
it
they are,
really
so,
simplifies StarCraft 2. You have the co-op thing is so important. I mean, and for that sort of reason too, I would also suggest maybe Red Alert 3 that has a co-op campaign. I guess it depends what sort of their competency is in terms of RTS experience. If they've never played RTS, then you may want to play a co-op campaign. Other than that, I think Age of Empires, Rise of Nations, those are good because they're pretty casual in the sense that it's less about killing and flanking and macroing and more just about I'm building a city. This is fun. But then behind that is actually a lot of depth. But on the surface, it's kind of basic and intuitive. Yeah. And I mean, one of my ex-girlfriends, I sort of tried to get into RTS, and we started with Rise of Nations, and that went pretty well because she played Age of Empires, and it's fun in that casual sense, again, because you don't have to play in a military sort of aggressive style, and then from that you can, if they get comfortable with something like Age of Empires or Rise of Nations, or co-op campaign or whatever, then you can try and branch them out. But I certainly don't think Company of Heroes 2 is the best way to start people off, because it's hard, and the AI is really crappy to verse. And another thing about Rise of Nations, which was really good, is the AI is actually really fun to verse, and you want to have fun AI to verse if you're playing with someone who's noob.
There's a difference between fun and hard as well. So.
Yeah, like, the AI in Company of Heroes is just this weird. Like, what are they doing? Why are they building half tracks? We have tigers. Like, well, we don't build half tracks. Yeah, that's my advice, I suppose.
As an alternative, if you ever spare 2 hours, watch Day 9 Daily number 100. One of probably my favorite video on YouTube. And something that I watch every year, and I'm sure, like Callum, I think you probably watched that
once,
at least once. Something I watch at least once per year is the Day9 Daily number 100. Day9, a very big StarCraft 2 personality and cast, a really cool guy. and it's about his kind of life journey through RTS games and StarCraft and StarCraft 2, and yeah, StarCraft at the time. It's an old video, the lead up to, but yeah, just incredible, yeah, really incredible. So yeah, it's just there's a way to explain RTS and like passion for video games. It's that video. So,
StarCraft 2's campaign is also really good. It's you know, it's designed for that broad appeal, and then you can watch streams and stuff. So not everyone wants to hear that though, but StarCraft 2 is probably a great way to start as well. Yeah. Just don't pick the hard ones. Anyway, next question. Will you ever cast other genres like CSGO? Will you upload any other gameplay in the future, like Rust Battlefield?
So CSGO I've considered getting into casting and stuff like that. With a game like CSGO or a MOBA, there is such a huge barrier to entry for casting. It's tough. It really is. You have to know a lot about the game. You have to be... Not only you have to know a lot, and I mean a lot about that game. When we're casting something like League of Legends, like I would spend just hours every single day watching shoutcasts and reading things and staying up to date and even playing the game, because you just have to be so ingrained in the community and that. So it's a huge time investment and like an energy investment as well to get into something like CSGO. Like there's a difference between like CSGO and like Armor or Rust or something like that. But so I considered getting CSGO. I never really ended up doing it. We did like a few trial casts and things like that. Never got uploaded. I did some with friends and things. Kind of enjoyed it, but CSGO isn't really my thing. I find it a little bit too repetitive. As I kind of found League of Legends eventually as well, so not that. I actually tried to get into, and may still try and eventually get into PUBG casting, because I think that's pretty huge. I think being a live observer is actually really intense in that, but it's hard. You can't really get observer. I don't know what it's like with I think it's been released now, so I haven't actually really re-looked into it. But, you know, back when it hadn't been released, you couldn't actually get observer and stuff like that, so it was impossible to practice. But I did we're supposed to do it at an RF LAN. I was going to do it at an RF LAN. And the day before, I spent 10 to 12 hours, literally 10 to 12 hours, just sitting, learning everything about, like, PUBG, every attachment, and, like the specifics about, like, everything, every gun, and, like, damage profiles, and, you know, and damage to, like, armor charts, and just everything, like, circle timings, just everything possible about the game. I learned, and there's like a 10 to 12 hour block of just intensive learning, which, you know, took me back to League of Legends casting days, where it is, you know, there's a lot of behind the scenes work that goes into casting something like that, only for us to get to RF LAN and the cable to like Singapore was cut. As we can stream to there, we were trying to stream to the server over East, and that was for some reason bouncing to America, back to, like, from here to America, back to over East, then back to here again, which like gave insane ping. It was impossible to stream. Essentially, was the result of this, and it was the last RF LAN for the year. So that was the last RF LAN. Red Flag LAN, the biggest LAN in Australia. It happens in WA, 700, 800 people, pretty crazy. But so yeah, it ended up we didn't end up casting it, which is pretty disappointing considering the amount of time I put into it. I think I just got so triggered that I just gave up at that point, because I'd put so much time into it and I never got the opportunity to actually stream it. So yeah, you never know. I might do something like that, but, you know, again, I'd have to relearn it. There's a new map. There's a lot more to it now. So
when are we going to see more regular streams of General's Gentleman, and what time of day? With knowing Callum, you for Stardock and Blake, I don't know what being bad at video games, Kappa.
Well,
I mean, So when I play RTS games nowadays, I just want to relax. Like, gaming is for me to zone out after working. Like, so, but streaming isn't that. Streaming is like, I have to like talk a lot, and I have to be interesting, and I have to try and be measured. So I've sort of stopped enjoying streaming as much now that I'm, you know, working a lot for Stardock. But I think you're planning on doing.
Yeah,
that,
I'm planning on doing streams. I'm just trying to sort out, in my break from teaching, sort out a lot of things, General's Gentleman being one of them, and setting up a streaming schedule is definitely something that I want to do. So I'll probably, in the next few weeks, be doing some trial streaming without a set schedule, just being, I'm not going to just jump in with, here's a set schedule for 3 weeks. No, I'll probably stream it a few different times, work out what kind of games people enjoy watching me play and that kind of thing, and just build from there. But I won't necessarily be playing games that I love and enjoy and play a lot, because that's stuff like League of Legends. Like, no one wants to see like General's Gentleman stream 7 days a week of League of Legends,
which is all he actually
which
plays.
is all I actually play. So To be fair, I'll be diamond, so
I mean,
I will be diamond. So
that's sort of the thing as well, though, is like we don't actually play the games that we cast much.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably related to because I feel like I get my fix from casting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And
yeah.
casting in more ways is more fun than playing because you, as we like to say, as a caster, you always win. When you're playing, say, Company of Heroes, if you get wrecked by like howitzer spam, like you're not winning that game. Like,
Yeah.
It's not fun.
Yeah.
You know. So I think I prefer casting more than I enjoy playing RTS for the most part. And what I've been playing in my own time to relax is more RPGs, as like Divinity 2, Original Sin 2, Spellforce 3 lately, and I play a lot of Ashes, but
Yeah. And I'll probably stream like Divinity and Ashes and Code 2 and 0 Hour and that kind of thing. So
the good thing about
games.
streaming though is it's just more content for us to post on YouTube.
Yeah.
You can export not the whole stream, but parts of it. So if we start streaming, then that'll probably result in more videos to post, depending on if they're interesting or not.
Yeah, which would be good. Yeah.
If you could buff one unit in 0 Hour 1.4 and people willingly played with this change, unlike 1.6, what would it be and what would the change be? If you could buff one unit, what about you?
Well, I think they said it. I've been on the Battle Master probably, so that's like the tough question because it's just like what would I change or what the most needs change. The unit that most needs change is probably I don't know. Like I'd like to see like Rebels are friggin' awful. Rebels are bad. Vanilla Battle Master.
Okay, well
bad.
let's say not one unit but unit type. Just say like
Right.
Paladin and Battle Master.
Right.
Or like Red Guard, or like, and Rebels and such. Toxin Tractor. What about Sentry Drone?
Yeah, Sentry Drone. I'm like, why do I have to pay for a gun upgrade? Why can't, like, seriously, is Sentry Guns OP if they have the gun? Like, I'm pretty sure you tried spamming them against me once and it didn't work.
Good for denying all caps.
Yeah,
but-
you just sit them on all caps. Actually, it's a really good strat because, especially if you play a lot of games, like this one time in a game against the machine is just like I sent like I'm guessing I was probably playing Chanim, so I just sent a red guard to cap the oil, and
Minigunner.
minigunner, yeah, to cap the oil, and I look back there and the minigunner isn't there, and I go, that's weird. I thought I sent a minigunner to cap that. Must send another. Anyway, I sent another minigunner over there to cap it. Look back, minigunner's not there. There are no units there. That's weird. Third minigunner go there, watching the minigunner this time. Bastard! He's put a stealth sentry drone on my Derek, and I couldn't cap it. Which is the worst because I wasted so much time just walking minigunners up to it and watching them die, which was disappointing. The one time sentry guns are actually good. I don't think anyone's actually managed to gain swag points from us by using sentry guns in a
that's
cast
true.
yet.
It's an untapped market.
Untapped market of swag points. If you can make it work in a cast.
Well, in
swag,
1.4,
more power to
the
you,
gun
so,
costs a
yeah.
lot. I think it's 1,000. In
Yeah,
1.6,
1,000,
it made it to
yeah.
500.
Yeah.
But let's say one change rather than one unit. What I would do is I would do one of the staples of 1.6, which is you increase the rocket resistance of the tanks by 20%. So then rocket troops, and then by extension Rock Vs and Helixes and RPGs and such, do 20% less damage to Battle Masters, Paladins, Marauder, all those tanks. So then those tanks are going to be a lot stronger, because currently tanks just suck. For the most part, maybe like Scorpions are probably the only exception there, and Nuke Overlords and such. But for the most part, tanks just suck. So that's what I would do. Tanks should be more useful than what they are. Tanks are bad. So.
Yeah.
Was that your answer, Sentry Drone?
Yeah, probably sentry drone, or like building resistance to rockets as well.
Oh,
Is
yeah,
something you
yeah.
include into that, which is the same idea. Next one. We gotta keep rolling, otherwise the stream's
Yeah,
gonna
we're
go
getting
on, like,
late,
too late,
and there's a lot
and I have to get
more.
up very early.
There's
so,
more
yeah,
questions here
yeah.
too. We'll use some of the old intros again. The worker asking for shout cards needs to be done again. No, I'm afraid not. That I looked at that with cringe. But I mean,
The
that was deliberately cringe. Like
Yeah,
that
we
was
do a lot. We do a lot of deliberately cringe stuff.
Yeah.
Like the whole Angel Drink series is
yeah.
deliberately
Yeah.
cringe. You've seen that intro, right? Like,
Actually, if you subscribe, you'll see it again. You'll see that intro. Yeah. No. To answer that question. Any plans for Yuri's Revenge cast in the future? I spent a while Googling. Apparently, Red Alert 2 does not even have replays. You cannot cast Red Alert 2. There is no replays. There's maybe some like third-party tools, but it's too much work to make that viable. Maybe I'll do a play and record it, but you can't shoutcast Red Alert 2, sadly. Maybe OpenRA will eventually get Red Alert 2, in which case there'll be replays. But until then,
I hear that's something they want to add on. So, what is your favorite Code 2 faction? And also, what is your favorite RTS, which we've already answered, of all game of any time? So, favorite Code 2 faction?
I'd say Soviets. I've just played them the most. I mean, I like to play all factions, apart from Brits, because Brits are just a weird, cheesy faction, and I don't like them. But I'd say Soviets. They're quite flexible. You know, at least now they are. You have a lot of options. You have all your support weapons. You got your flamer. You got your rocket arty. You got your tank destroyer. I think you have everything you need. I mean, sometimes you'll need the doctrines like for heavy tanks and such, but I think they're quite flexible. Whereas US, they're very rigid in terms of. I mean, not so much now with the Jackson, but even then, the fact that you don't get a HMG unless you go this one specific tier, you don't get an AT gun unless you go this specific tier, which I guess Soviets is kind of like too, but I don't know. I'd say Soviets.
Same.
Do you think a successor to Zero Hour or a game would be similar? Do you think a successor to Zero Hour or a game that would be similar also could a CNC remake happen?
Is there a market for a new Zero Hour or a remade Zero Hour?
Yeah,
or a game like Zero Hour?
I think there is.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't really know how to really expand that. Like, yeah, I hope we get one.
Yeah. I think it's a great game. There are a lot of features in it that would appeal to new players, as well as the fact that you're just going to get the old faithfuls that would stick with the series. So yeah, definitely. Cool.
What's your opinion regarding whether game journalists and reviewers have to be able to play games they write about competently?
They have to be competent at a game and
write
about it and review it.
Should you be able to review a game if you're not good at it?
Yeah.
I think there is value in any opinion so long as you know where their opinion is coming from. If you get someone that has never played an RTS game come along and write a review about Ashes, I'm not going to say, well, this person's a noob because he hasn't played RTS, therefore his opinion's worthless. I'm going to think, well, I mean, we're probably going to have a lot of people playing Ashes who have not played any other RTS games. So how can we make that learning curve as accessible as possible? And then, you know, likewise on the opposite, if you have someone who's a hardcore RTS enthusiast come along and say, you know, I don't like this for this reason or whatever it is, I think that there's always value, but the value can only be extracted if they contextualize their perspective by sort of presenting where they're coming from and being very specific in what they criticize or what they praise. And that's what I try and do with my reviews, is I always try to say, well, as a fan of, you know, X and X and X, I was expecting this and this isn't what I got, and so forth. So any opinion is useful. I mean, I say that. I guess most opinions are useful, so long as they have the context. Because then what you do is you find a reviewer or journalist or whatever who shares your same perspective, who shares your same background, and then you sort of align yourself with a YouTuber or a journalist or whatever, and then you take them for what you will.
Good answer.
Can you do some more drunk casts?
Yeah, sure. At some point.
I actually asked Blake if he wanted to do like do a shot if we get a donation, but he had to be up early, so it wasn't really good timing. I mean, I think you'll sort of want to leave those for special occasions. So
yeah,
it's like a patron milestone, I think.
Yeah, we'll add it to your.
Yeah, if we did one of those, if we get a certain amount of, you know, per month who will do a drunk stream or
We'll
something.
do a drunk stream. So yeah.
I mean, I don't know if drunk casts is really the best format though, because I remember when we cast and we're drunk, for at least for me, I just sort of default to casting as I would normally because it's so sort of
it's so
habitual.
ingrained. Like we would have to be like Jabba the Hutt talking levels of drunk
I
for it
think-
to actually change what we do.
I think playing is more fun for the sake of drunk because then you get more of that drunkiness. Whereas if you're casting, you're casting. You know, it's very habitual, very methodical.
It just expands on our current personalities or our personalities and just kind of makes them more.
I guess maybe if it's like a
obvious and stuff, so
ridiculous
it doesn't have to do as
0 hour
much.
cast.
Yeah.
If it company heroes, you wouldn't really want to cast that drunk.
Yeah.
But for 0 hour, where you get like a crazy game where there's like trucks crushing stuff, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, this is crazy.
Blake, which RTS would you recommend for cardio and for self-defense? For cardio, I mean StarCraft 2, definitely. I think that's obvious. I'm pretty sure the forearms of like Bjorn could like barely he has to walk through doors sideways because his like shoulders are so big and stuff. So I would say StarCraft 2 for cardio. Self-defense for self-defense. This one for self-defense. I think probably like Company of Heroes 2 because of like rare armor and stuff like that. Like you got to be aware of your rare armor.
The
like,
value of being flanked.
Value of being flanked and stuff like that. You got to be aware of like what's around you at all times. You know,
And knowing
like,
when to retreat.
Knowing when to retreat. That's really important as well. So I think Company of Heroes 2 gives you a good set of life lessons in that respect.
Knowing how to blob safety numbers.
Yeah.
Not really a question here, but greetings from Pakistan. Love the cast, guys. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Jeez. Will you cast Brood War? No.
Nah.
It's sort of, there are so many people that cast Brood War. If you want to watch Brood War, just go watch Tastosis. I don't know why you'd watch us cast Brood War.
Yeah, exactly.
That's sort of the way that I see it.
I think that's the basis of a lot of things that we do. It's just like, why?
Yeah.
We're not going to do something that someone is better than us at, not because we're annoyed about it. It's just like, why would you want to watch us? Like, we create content that hopefully is, to a degree unique and something that is, at least, something we're the best at in all the fields, or at least strive to be the best at. And if you can't be, then just watch the really good stuff. So a lot of great casters for a lot of games that we don't do. So especially the big ones.
Favorite music and or bands? Asking because my favorite band is from your hometown.
Wonder which band that is.
Frank Klapaki. No, that's the CNC composer. I'm not really a music person. Like I don't have favorite bands that I see live. I do listen to a lot of music while I'm working though. That's just chill stuff. Say YouTube chill compilation and just like, oh yeah, that one. And I have a bunch of ones saved because it's really sort of background music that I listen to while I'm like writing or working or something, because then that just sort of helps me concentrate. I mean, I love a lot of orchestral music from game soundtracks and so forth, but that's probably more of a question for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't even like a particular genre of music. I listen to everything, like all kinds of stuff. I find value in like everything from like screamo hardcore death metal to like T-Swizzle, who I'm seeing next year. Like, yeah, it's just Taylor Swift. I find value in all kinds of different music. Like I'm classically trained as well. I'm a trumpet player. Not something that I bring out all the time. That'll have to be on one of the streams or something. But so yeah, like I'll happily sit there and listen to Beethoven or I'll listen to freaking like Tupac or something. It's just all sorts of stuff. At the moment, on my computer, the current tabs I have open, I think I have Diane Wood open. I have Brockhampton. I just got introduced to by my friend GG MBN Law. GG Background Dude. GG Background Dude, Robert. So just got introduced to Brockhampton, which is a cool collective from America. So they're awesome. So I'm listening to them at the moment. I've got, what else is there? So yeah, I think I've got Diane Wood. I've got Brockhampton open. I've been listening to Post Malone lately, like I think most people have. So all kinds of music. I think I don't think you have to like any one thing in particular. Just like video games, you can like a bunch of things. Yeah, and just because you like a particular song by an artist doesn't mean you have to like all their songs and whatever. So yeah.
Is this going to be on YouTube? Yes. Could you rank your favorite RTS games? Done that. Do it in order though. What are the most important financial lessons you've learned since you started the channel?
Probably matches more to you. Anything you want to go into? Or?
Not really.
Yeah.
Don't waste money on pointless shit.
Yeah, don't waste money on pointless shit.
I don't.
Buy
I
points
think,
by League of Legends
yeah.
are a big no-no. No, it's just like, I think... I suppose this is kind of more prevalent for me because, like, you've been moved out of home for a while, whereas I've only kind of just moved out a couple of years age gap and all other things. So I think it's just, yeah, don't spend money on frivolous shit. Actually, like, think about your, like, purchases and stuff before you make them. It's easy to make whim purchases, and like, I think that goes into it a bit. It's just like, oh, I'm really feeling this particular thing right now. It's like, think about it like long term as well. And budgeting is actually really good. I could probably get stressed a bit, but like budgeting is like really important. To know where you're at and like if you know what you can afford and what you can't afford and stuff like that. I think like budgeting's pretty awesome, and writing down stuff as well. I think is really good. Like actually physically writing down stuff, I think has like a better mental aspect to it than doing anything else. Like for me, like doing like a to-do list or something like that, or budget or whatever on the computer, and then like backspacing or deleting lines isn't nearly as satisfying as like actually physically writing it down. Like a to-do list, like scratching out something once you've done it, like that's a really visceral like cool thing.
There's actual scientific explanations that writing is a lot more visceral.
Sure. Yeah.
That if you want to remember something, if you're at a university lecture, writing something helps you retain knowledge rather than typing it. Not that that's relevant, but what I will say is don't skip the dentist. I recently got a root canal, and that was like so expensive. Oh man, because I didn't go to the dentist for I don't know 2 or 3 years. You know, because I didn't have a lot of money back then, so I was like, I can't really afford the dentist. But had I just got a filling, it wouldn't have cost me that much. Whereas because I left it, I ended up having to get a root canal, and that cost me, you know, several $1,000s. So, yeah, glad I could afford it now. Yeah. Don't skip the dentist. Floss your teeth. Yeah.
Service your car. Like, it's
check
better
for water and oil.
Yeah, shit like that. It's just like, yeah, it's better to like to mitigate a problem or address it early than it is to like leave it for an extended period of time, because it just gets worse.
My dad has a saying: lazy people work harder. Too lazy to go to the dentist. Yeah. When you pay more. Yeah. Too lazy. Yeah. But the consequence of procrastinating is more than the initial investment. First of all, I praise your existence. All this popped into my mind and I had to share it with yous. How about you guys get into a free-for-all with a bunch of bosses, like Dommy Rage size? Because we would get wrecked. And
I would cast something like that, but it would not be interesting. We can barely 2v1. Who are we 2v1? Rage? Yeah, we can barely 2v1 Rage. It's literally how good he is. Like, these players are. We can just 2v1 him. Just playing legit. Yeah, that would be, yeah, we'd have to see. If you get some high-level players in, like, a 1v1. But what always ends up happening, in like, our Patreon games is the machine drives his tech terrors, double tech terrors, all the way around the map. So meanwhile, like, I'll set the scene a bit more. So I'm like, this is like a 1v, I think it's a 6-player map, 6 players or 8 players or something like that. 6 players, I think. And I had people either side of me, and I was actually fighting off on both flanks. Like, I defended against 2 people. I was 2v1ing. It was friggin' intense, and I just, like, fought off this massive fight from, like, Hetty, like, one of the guys, and I just finished this fight, and I won it, and I saved my production and stuff. I'm fantastic. 2 technicals from the machine from the other side of the map, having driven around to everyone's bases trying to find Argon Hawk.
No, that's not Blake. What about this guy? Is that Blake? No, it's not Blake. Yeah. And then I think I actually lost one of those tech terrors, but
finds my base and blows up my production. That was pretty triggering. So I think you always end up with that kind of issue where you can just get like 2v1. There's nothing you can do about it, and then it doesn't necessarily make it interesting. But I guess there'd be a lot of action. So yeah.
I'm wondering, will you guys keep casting generals? Yeah, we will do generals for a long time. We still do generals frequently. We've skipped a few questions because some of them have been duplicates of what we've already answered. When will you host your own tournament? I personally don't see any reason for us to host our own tournaments. Unless it was a game where there are no replays of. But for everything like 0 Hour and Company of Heroes, there are more than enough replays. And so really, what's the point? Why would we host a tournament when we can just cast other people's tournaments.
Yeah, there's nothing. I don't think if we saw something that was really lacking in the community or something we would like to do that no one else is doing, I think it's a possibility. But at the moment, not really. Like, yeah.
So the tournaments that I have hosted were for my Company of Heroes mod, or even before that were the 1.6 tournaments.
1.6 tournaments. We did 1.6. Yeah.
So yeah, there'd have to be a reason for it.
Do you have any thoughts on the indie RTS market? Smaller RTS games. Games like Offworld Trading Company, there are Billions, and Northgard. They have sold around 500,000, 400,000, 500,000 units, and the last two are still in early access.
Pretty sure that number isn't right. That's a lot of copies.
I don't know.
500,000.
Seems like a lot.
But, well, I mean, that's a pretty open question. I haven't played There Are Billions in Northgard.
I haven't either.
So I
It's
can't
something
comment
you
on
look into,
those.
but, yeah.
Offworld Trading Company, I work for the publisher, so I can't really say much there without being biased. But I do like Offworld Trading Company, but I don't really know what this question is sort of getting at.
Not working for the company, I really like Offworld Trading Company. It's good. It's a really good game.
Okay, well, I guess what I can expand on that is saying that I really like this whole new subgenre that Offworld Trading Company has spawned. And I don't know if we're going to get any other RTS games that tap into that subgenre. I kind of doubt it. But I think that there's a lot of opportunity there of the no unit RTS game where it's hard to define Offworld Trading Company as an RTS game. You just sort of know that it is an RTS game, but I'm trying to articulate why it's an RTS, and I think a lot of it's about the interface and overall sort of the competitive economy is what defines an RTS. But yeah, I don't really know what's. I think indies are good at pushing the boundaries of what's common. Hey,
K-Pen, thank you for the subscription, my man. K-Pen's a real mad dog.
did that pop up on stream?
Gotta love it. Yeah, pop it on the
did.
stream.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
didn't see
because K-Pen's insane. What a legend.
Cheers, K-Pen.
So, yeah, I hope you
K-Pen,
guys.
you mad dog.
Mad dog. I hope you enjoyed the subscriber sound. So, yeah.
How do you get your gaming names?
You wanna go? So, Oniju Machine.
Yeah, I was
You wanna go
Oniju
first,
Machine,
Oniju
and
Machine.
then I was like, that sounded terrible, so I got to
Yeah.
change it. I really don't like the Machine. Part of why I've just sort of been referring to myself as Callum and not the Machine. Or the other part of that is in the context of working for Stardock. It's just saying like Callum is just easier.
Yeah. I like the Machine. I think it's appropriate. You're
It's
very
so
good
generic,
at
though.
But no, it's a very appropriate. No, it's generic, but like it's not generic because it suits you. Like it suits your like style of play, the amount of RTS that you play, how good you are at at video games in general. It's like, yeah, no, I always thought like Ownership Machine, the Machine were all quite apt titles. Like if I call myself the Machine, it wouldn't really make any sense in comparison because it's just like why? Like it just yeah. Yeah, thanks, man.
I just googled apps.
Yeah, no, I think it's appropriate because, yeah, in case you didn't know, Machine's pretty good at friggin' video games, and lots of different video games. The name is appropriate. Myself, I was Hawk originally, was my, like, very first, like, IGN, and then I obviously wanted something a little bit more less common, something more my own. So we kind of thought about it for a while. It probably took this is like right at the start. This probably took a good hour conversation or something like that. I'm really thinking about it, and what we ended up coming up with was Archon, which is not just a StarCraft 2 reference. It means like chief or leader or head. So I'm just like I'm the king of all the Hawks essentially. So we came up with Archon Hawk, and I thought that sounded cool. So we went with Archon.
Yeah,
Hawk.
I remember you toying up with a few other prefixes. I can't remember what they were though, but they're like, how about this? Like, yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking about changing my name. It's kind of too late, you know. It's like
I think the
it's
Machine's
too
good.
late to change it. Anyway, I love your casts. Maybe a how-to play tips video would allow them to make more sense to myself. Is that something you would consider? I mean, I did a few of the 0 hour tips. And I think that's a series that was valuable and actually pretty easy to make as well. It didn't take long to make those videos, but they could have a lot of use for people. Talking about the other day, maybe Blake will continue doing those. For the Company of Heroes, Tightrope does amazing videos. So there really isn't any point for us doing those. But for 0 hour, I think... I mean, even Dominator does those videos too, but I think it's still worth us doing them just because we have a bigger channel, and I think people would find value in that.
I think it's something I'll look into doing, so fairly easy for me to do. But yeah, might do something like that. Yeah, check out Tightrope on YouTube on Kotu. Out of all the Zero-Hour mods, which one is your favorite? I think with Shockwave for me, probably. So.
Yeah, I would say Shockwave. I mean, so you got to sort of look at what the mods are trying to do. So what Shockwave is trying to do is be a Zero-Hour 2.0. And that's sort of what I want, because I like Zero-Hour. Whereas something like Rise of the Reds is this whole kind of different style. It's like a StarCraft / Zero-Hour sort of combination. I prefer Shockwave, but I see what the appeal is. I'd say Shockwave. And Contra I liked as well. Those are the only ones that I've really played. Also the only ones that you can never really get games of. I'd say Shockwave. Oh, wow. Next question. Probably the same guy, actually.
Yeah.
Will you be doing more casts for those mods that I just listed? If we get sent good replays, sure. Getting replays for those isn't always easy. So email us replays if you have good replays.
Good replays.
Didn't we already?
Yeah, we've done that one. Yeah.
That?
Okay.
What's your relationship? We went to the high school together, and we had a friend in common. Then we started landing together, and now after 4.5 years, we're finally housemates.
Yes, we're housemates now, which we weren't before. Not friends with benefits. Machine just shuts me down every time. I don't know what's up with that. It's weird, but just mates, good mates, good mates.
Another one about the Kotu patch. How to
fix snipers? Yeah, man, it's a big issue. This is the hot topic. We need to go to the people and find out what the hot topics are. Apparently, it's how to balance snipers.
Yeah, and another one about how to fix snipers. What upcoming games are you excited to cast and play? Age of Empires Definitive. I don't even know what else is coming out in the RTS world. Forge Battalion. I don't know. I haven't looked into that though.
Yeah.
I think I have a copy of it though.
Dawn of War 4, I'm really looking forward to. I think it's going to be a hit. So.
Age of Empires 4, I just hope it's good. Like, I really don't want to get into this hype of like, oh my god, this game looks amazing, and then it ends up sucking. Yeah. At least with Age of Empires Definitive.
We've been hurt before.
Yeah, we've been burnt too many times. Grey Goo, 8-bit armies, Generals 2. There's the RTS roller coaster ride has been emotional, but Age of Empires Definitive, it's different because it's not a new game. It's a remaster, so you can be a little bit more optimistic about those. What do you both do for a living? What jobs have you done in the past? So I used to work in a electronic retail store, like the Australian equivalent of Best Buy. I was there for several years while I was working on growing the channel up. Before that, I did computer repair. I did a little business from home, and I worked at a grocery store.
I did 6 years in fruit and veg, a local fruit and veg store, so I'm a bit of an expert. I was very good at it, but it was about time to move on when I left there. I've also done security. I'm a registered security guard and a security guard and crowd controller. So I've done some of that at Crown Casino, which is like there's only one casino. The way they work their licenses is like there's only one casino in Perth and most Australian states. You can only have one. There is only one. There can be only one. So there's just Crown Casino. So I was at the casino in Perth. So I did some security there, and now I'm doing martial arts instructing with trying to build the channel as well. So. Yeah.
Most hilarious match you've casted for Zero Hour, I would certainly say that Zero Hour match, the Rohan vs. Caro game. Company of Heroes, I mean, you don't really get hilarious matches. I'm guessing this was about Zero Hour. We already answered that one. Why'd you drunk? That's What's your favorite?
He got us. He got us. He got us through space and time. We've seen him, and he's still got us. Damn, what a legend. What's your favorite energy drink? Big question.
I found it funny when you said crowd control. I couldn't think of League of Legends. Couldn't help but thinking of League of Legends.
More Dark Binding. So.
Yeah.
The Kaboom, probably. Maybe V Kaboom, which isn't out anymore and doesn't exist.
Feels bad, man.
Feels bad, man. All the V limited editions are amazing and don't stay on the shelves, which is disappointing. But then every new one comes out and it's also awesome. I would say Kaboom. What do you think?
Yeah, as far as an all-time favorite, V Kaboom. As for one that we have regularly, probably the that Monster Zero Sugar.
Monster Import, yeah.
No, the white one. Isn't that Monster or is that Mother?
The
No Sugar white one.
No Sugar white one.
The white, like the.
Oh, right. It's
the orange one too.
something ice or something like that, or Monster. Yeah, it's just a white sugar-free can. It's very good. Yeah. Assault is one of them. Assault is the black and red can, and then you have can't remember. But yeah. Yeah, that one's quite good and is currently available. Who is the better and more handsome gamer, and why is it Blake? Why is it Blake, Callum?
40 hours of martial arts a week.
Yeah, well, that'll help, I guess.
Getting your $100 politics shorts.
Yeah,
and your haircut every 2 weeks when you don't actually need a haircut. Yeah. I guess I'm sort of the opposite. Is like I get my haircuts like when they're well overdue, and you get yours like way before they're even necessary.
So that applies. As to why Callum's the better gamer, man, he's just good. He's just better. Every now and again, I pick a game and I hope he's forgotten how to play it.
Because I don't spend thousands of hours playing League of Legends.
Yeah, I guess. But sometimes I pick a game and hope he's forgotten how to play it, like U2004. It's like, man, maybe he's forgotten how to play this. Oh no, he just got shot comboed 3 times in a row. Maybe not. Maybe he still remembers. Disappointing. Yeah, so he's pretty good. Did you ever play Age of Mythology? And if so, did you like it? Seen it played, never really got into it. So you?
I only played it recently. I didn't really play it back in the day because there was a remaster of that too, and a new expansion which I heard wasn't very good. The one with the Chinese, I think. My opinion was like, well, I might as well just play Age of Empires 3. You know, I don't really see why I would play Age of Mythology over Age of Empires 3, and I'm sure that's going to anger lots of people because there's sort of this thing that it's cool to bash on Age of Empires 3, and it had some issues, like the cars is weird, but I think it was a really solid game, and it ages really well, the graphics are beautiful. Age of Mythology, even with a remaster, it's like, it doesn't look that good. Yeah, but I didn't really play it much. I sort of was thinking about doing a cast for it, maybe, but we'll see.
See what else we got. Done that one.
Yeah. Have you ever considered casting Age of Empires 2? I never got into it. I'm not really a fan of it.
I think I'd have to know more about the game. I'd know a little bit more in depth. I was never into the hardcore competitive scene, so it would be difficult. Doable, but difficult. Probably we'll look into Age of Empires when the new stuff comes out. No, that's not a good question. That's a naughty question.
Skipping some of these questions.
That's a naughty question. Done it.
Yeah.
Annoying. Jeez, the ones we haven't edited out.
Oh
God.
Well, but all of these ones are recently from the Twitch.
Yeah.
Jesus. All right, here we go. What do you think?
I'm glad this got in.
What do you think about the opinions of propaganda cast?
Sorry for the clips.
Imperial Dane and about the state of Wehrmacht? I mean, that's a pretty hard question to answer. I think he's funny in that, he has a particular kind of casting style
and humor. Yeah,
the
way he does
humor.
it. Yeah, I think it's quite unique.
It's not so comparable to a casting style like us. State of Wehrmacht are very flimsy because of RNG wipes. Because they're all four-man squad, they just get one-shot by mortars and stuff too easily. So I think there needs to be more consistency with how AoE damage is applied. So, I mean, Wehrmacht, it's just, if you have bad RNG, you'll get screwed by all these wipes. But if you have fine RNG, then
they're a very well-rounded faction,
okay.
So you'll be fine. So
if you're playing on a map where the sniper's OP, then they're probably OP. So it varies on map a lot. At least I'm talking about 1v1. So they're fine, but I mean they have problems, of course. But it's better than what it's been in the past. When is no tournament question? Why don't you guys cast Red Alert 2? Because replays don't exist. Do you still enjoy playing Code 2? Do you think Code 3 can become big like CS:GO or LoL? 1v1, I just get really mad by like snipers and RNG wipes and like map. I mean, I probably enjoy playing team games just because it's more of a thing you do with friends. You don't really take it too seriously. With 1v1s, I can't help but taking it really seriously, and then I just get mad when dumb shit happens, like main gun crits and stuff like that.
In terms of like esports compatibility for RTS in general, I think a game like Competitive Heroes 2 is one of the more accessible RTSs for development into an esport, but the community needs to be there. And the reason for that is it's very visually, it's what's the word I'm looking for? Visually. Easy to see what's happening.
Oh, it's intuitive.
Visually intuitive, because you can look, this infantry models, tank shoots, I don't know, shell infantry die makes sense. AT gun shoots tank takes damage. Very, it makes sense. Like, I could show my mum or my dad Competitive Heroes 2, and they might not get the overall game, but they could, see what's going on, because it's real world based RTS. So it'd be quite easy for a casual viewer base to look into and enjoy. And I think that's important. That's why esports such as CS:GO or League of Legends are really big. You can enjoy it as a really high tier player. You can also enjoy it as a casual observer who doesn't know that much about the game, and still understand what's going on and still enjoy it as well. You don't have to be diamond in League of Legends to appreciate the shoutcasting and the game as an esport. So.
There's a lot of things that go into making a game like esports big, and Company of Heroes has to do all of those, and I doubt it will, and it's not really trying to either, and to an extent boxes. Maybe it shouldn't be anyway. You kind of have to know the strength of the game. It depends if it's good, we'll see. Why you stopped casting Smite? I was in the first game you ever casted for the first OC Smite tournament.
Cool.
Why did I stop casting Smite? Okay, so I remember the week we stopped casting Smite it was RF LAN.
Yeah.
We went to this RF LAN, this tournament. We set our PCs up. We were gonna cast, and the observer just didn't work, and then the replays didn't work.
Yeah.
There was so much problem there with
so
streaming. We used to do the Smite Sunday scrims, and some weeks it just wouldn't work. Well, that was a waste of all this time and effort. That was a big factor, is that the replays and the observing was just broken, and I'm sure it's been fixed now. That was several years ago. Other than that, I sort of got into casting Smite as sort of like this. It was an opportunity to become a professional shoutcaster, which was originally kind of the plan, to do professional shoutcasting full time in sort of the way that, say, like Husey does, and that just sort of, I guess, stopped being, realistic. I stopped playing it. I don't know. I also stopped playing it after I finished my why Smite is awesome video, which is actually the most successful video on the channel. Yeah. I guess just because I spent so much time and effort and energy into making that video, and by the end of that I was just sort of like, I'm kind of bored. But I don't know, I really enjoyed Smite. If I was to play a MOBA for whatever reason, I would probably play it over League. I think there's a lot about it that's really good compared to other MOBAs.
It's a really good game. It's very original in the MOBA series as well, so... it was cool. But it also is another one of those games where you have to be incredibly invested in the community in the game as well. Especially when we were casting, it was very early stages for Smite, so it's constantly changing and adapting, so it's very time consuming.
Yeah,
casting a game like Smite. So
to continue casting it, I had to sort of invest all this time learning it, and it's like, is it really worth it? And clearly, it was not worth it, because look where we've gone. So had I invested all this time into that, we probably would have just not gone anywhere. So can you stream 1v1 with Blake? Maybe at some point.
There are not that many games we're evenly matched in there. We have some
We were supposed to play Warcraft 3 because we were watching that.
Yeah, sure. I'll
like-
play Warcraft 3 with you. Yeah, that'll be good. So
Yeah.
I'll have to get back into it.
Speed
Like,
run.
you're better than me at UT 2004, but like not by a huge margin. But like, you don't have to be like insanely better than someone at UT 2004 to spank them all over the screen. So, which I think is a discussion we had a while ago. Like, Unreal Tournament is like a really good game, 2004, but like I get 1 kill to machines like 3 or 4 around ish, and so that's kind of tough. To do that. So yeah, I mean there are some games that we can play, but we're not even matched in a lot of games. There's some games that I play that Callum obviously doesn't play, and vice versa. So
I hate this question.
can you do more League of Legends casts and streams? Here we go, 7 days a week, General Tournament stream. Tune in right now. I'm gonna switch over to my computer and stream some League of Legends.
Encourage
don't
him.
bait me. Don't bait me. It's a bad game for bad people. So don't do it.
Is that like a repeat? Oh my god, it is.
Should we answer it?
Generals.io.
Yeah, good question.
Is Blake your brother? I don't know why people say that. We look nothing alike.
Yeah, it's not really.
I think
at all, so.
Rob White and I, so you can sort of justify like, oh, you sort of look similar. So like
And
me
even
and Rob.
oh yeah, more so than me and you.
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least.
we
So,
look
yeah,
nothing
yeah,
like. We
yeah.
don't have, the hair isn't the same. But with Rob, it's sort of like, I could understand why someone would
This is
ask.
GG background dude. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
but for you, I don't know why people will even ask that. Like, we don't look alike at all.
Yeah.
Are you ever going to cast Might again? Like, no, I doubt it.
No.
Maybe I'll play it again, but let alone casting.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, we sort of, the second half of these we sort of buzzed through, but I guess a lot of them were repeats and some of them just weren't quite as in depth. But so that's it. This will be on YouTube if you missed it, so keep an eye out for that. Thanks to everyone who watched and added questions, and thanks to everyone who's been watching us and supporting us over the years, the 5 years and 1 day of making YouTube videos. It's been a cool ride, and plenty more years to come.
Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity. It's good. Wouldn't be able to do it if we didn't have this community. We wouldn't have kept going with it. As much as we personally enjoy it, we do it for personal enjoyment. It's nice to have a bit of, putting energy out, you want energy back in as well, and you guys definitely give us that. And that interaction, makes us want to keep going and keep pushing. So yeah, thank you for all your support. Internally grateful for that. So it's good.
Yeah, so if you haven't done so, follow us on our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter because we post a lot of stuff there, and join our Discord group because we sort of interact with people there. And of course, if you want to support us on Patreon, that will allow us to keep up the pace of content that we're doing now, which is a lot faster than what it used to be. And I think that's about it.
That was everything. Thank you for tuning in.
Farewell.